we first have to really stop the stream. Okay. Because it's still live. Let's see if I can get this to go live. Oh, it does say we're live here.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Well, in that case, what I've just got to do now, I've just got to pause this side of things and load that up. And I'll wait. Yeah, I think we caught a little bit of your voice on the start of that stream, but that's okay. It's fine. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. I've got a little live commentary rule to turn shortly thing up, but now we're ready to go, essentially. We do, yeah, but I think if you go into the other stream, you should be able to click end stream on it, and it'll just stop the other stream. Fantastic. Okay, and just like I said, take your time, mate. Just go and relax and enjoy. Don't feel pressured to come back and help me out at all. It's all good. You just take your time, do things you need to do. Cool. Okay, cool. What I might just get you to do before you go, could you kick John out of the commentary box, voice chat? Let's do that, yeah. And then I'll get you to leave as well. Then I'll leave, and then I'll rejoin. Yep. That should be it. And if I share my screen now, you'll be able to see what's going on. Okie dokie. And you want to say a quick hello to good morning everyone before you head off? Okie dokie. All right. All right, give me a second. I'll give us an intro and I'll lead you into it. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back in. I think we had some little issues with the audio there, but we are in fact back with live commentary here at the DC-SimRacing 24 Hours of Spa for Make-A-Wish, and it's been an excellent race so far. I have with me, of course, Daniel Metz, who's just been in the car again. He's going to say a quick good morning and then a quick goodbye, I suspect, because he is fiending for some coffee and some breakfast, which I suspect most people are. Hi, Daniel. How's it been going, mate?
Awesome. Yeah, it's, as you say, just wanted to say hi and good morning, everyone, all the viewers. We currently have 8, so a couple probably still have to make the switch to the new channel, but hopefully they will join us soon as well. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic so far. As you can see, we've raised almost $5,500 now, which is amazing. Good morning, Menno, as well. Of course, Menno and the other stewards are doing an amazing job keeping track of all the incentives and, of course, doing their stewarding. But, of course, the main focus is on incentives right now. And, yeah, of course, our friends at Fun Racing very much, well, I would say a driving force behind all the awesome incentives. As Menno says that we will have rain in 30 minutes.
Oh, so, yes.
Awesome. How awesome is that? This race keeps getting interesting and more interesting and more interesting.
It certainly does.
Yeah, about me, I had to do a bit of conflict there between the QRT and I think that's the Falcon racing car, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the thing was that Michael, my teammate, what's going on here? My teammate was supposed to take over, of course, but he's probably still sleeping soundly. So that's good for him, but not so much for me. So I have to start a third stint. But thankfully, Patrick Bijsters, absolute legend, absolute hero, because he's also one of the stewards, of course, doing all that incentives work today. But he's also done a fair bit of driving for us. So he was able to take over for me, and he's back in the car again. And hopefully Mike will wake up soon as well. look at his alarm clock and realize what has happened, and then hopefully be quickly on towards the sim rig to relieve Patrick Bijsters, because he's already done a fair bit of driving, as I say. So and as you say, we also have Formula Racer in the chat. Amazing race, guys. I'm still going to drive today in the 926 car. It's my first 24-hour race, and it's fantastic. Yeah, it's awesome to have you guys with us. Such an amazing event we've been able to make this. All of us, all the contributions have been, wow, just amazing, legendary. So, and with that, George, I'm going to leave you to do your excellent commentary work, and I'll have a little break, and I'll see you in very soon, because I can't wait to join again and see what happens with the rain coming on.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely, mate. Go and have a well-deserved break. Daniel Metz, of course, everyone, one of the primary organizers of this event, and my goodness, he has worked hard to make this event happen, doing all the stuff in the background as well. Of course, big thanks to our stewards in the background too, and a big thanks to everyone who has donated. We'll talk to Daniel again at some point pretty soon, because as we've been told, 30 minutes, we've got rain. It's that time. You'd love to see it. We're here in the valley of Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and we are going to be having a fantastic time because mixed conditions befall us very soon. I'm sure all the teams are out there scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on. Those who are halfway through a stint are not going to be particularly happy out there. But just to run you through a few little housekeeping items here, folks. Of course, it is optimum track conditions out there today. 22 degrees track temperature, ambient is 22 as well. A light breeze here in the early hours of the morning in Belgium. And of course, welcome in to everyone in chat now. Hello, Tim. Hello, Tim Sis. We've got a number of people in there. We've got Mark Mountains as well. Welcome in, Formula Racer. And Menno of Mayhem. Welcome into Menno, of course, being one of the main chaps behind the live stewarding that is happening in the background. And oh boy, they are doing such a great job too. I am absolutely astounded with this event so far. We are 20 hours and 30 minutes. Or 25 minutes, I should say. So I've already failed with that, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll get better and better. But we are solid chunk of the way through this 24-hour race. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is George Cook. On behalf of Raven Comms, of course, John Wright, who is in the commentary box for the vast majority of the start of the race. He is coming back at some point, potentially. He may not, we'll see. But Raven Comms is the organization that we are part of. And Mark Martin saying hi from the Make-A-Wish 208. Yes, I've been looking at the 208 actually, and this is a car that we have over here. One of my favorite liveries out there. The Make-A-Wish symbol is absolutely as big as you could probably make it without it going across two cars or wrapping around the back of the car. So very nice job. Currently in 9th position is the 208 car. So Mark Bartons, I did see that last part of your stint. And before we had the switch-a-roo here in the commentary box, and you did a very good job from what I could tell. Everyone seems to have been doing a fantastic job, and with a huge amount of donations out there. I mean, this is a massive amount of money, everyone. $5,480.81. That is massive, absolutely massive. And you know what makes a wish? Donations like these, because it really does make a difference. And, you know, over the course of these 20 hours and 30 minutes, having that much money donated is just a testament to everyone's commitment to making a difference in this world. So good morning, Mike, as well. Good moaning. Good moaning indeed, yes. There will be some moaning out there, I suspect. A drive-through just being picked up by Naudendorf there, the 387 McLaren. So I'm sure they'll be doing a bit of good moaning. And there might be some good moaning coming up in about 30 minutes when this rain does approach and really mix things up. So we've got a lot of cars out there. I'll give you a race update at some point soon. We've got a lot of cars out there that are slightly mixed up in their orders. Some battles that I've been observing as well. There's been a big battle going on between 9th and 10th position over this race too, which has been very interesting to watch. The 31 Porsche versus the 208 BMW. These two have been getting closer and closer out on track I think there might be a pit stop difference here. But of course, I will run through a few more housekeeping items before we get going. There's always a lot to say in these situations. And Tim Hugendorn reporting that the 500 is still going strong. Excellent. Glad to hear it. So obviously, I'm a little bit out of date with what's been going on. We've had a bit of a break in the commentary for a while. So we do, of course, apologize for the break in the commentary. But that is just the nature of things with 24-hour races. There's a lot to organize, a lot of people to get involved in things. And I'm actually broadcasting from you over here in New Zealand. So while I do sound British, and you might expect me to be coming to you live from the United Kingdom, I'm actually coming to you live from New Zealand, taking up the final stint in the final 3 hours and 30 minutes in this amazing charity event. I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen so far, and I can tell you, even though it's 8:30 p.m. over here, I am absolutely pumped to see what is going to happen in the remaining part of this race. But yes, honestly, absolutely amazing event. I'm completely blown away by this. I've actually been qualifying with Spa early on today. I've got a 24-hour race of my own coming up in about a week, so I'm fairly familiar with what some of these racing teams out here have been dealing with out on track. And I'll be looking forward to doing similar myself in a week. Sadly, it's not a charity race I'll be doing that for. That will be for a league race and an endurance season, just to round things out. But very exciting nonetheless, because Spa-Francorchamps, I mean, there'll be some out there that don't like it. I think this is one of the best circuits in the world. I think many will agree with me on that point. Do let me know, of course, if you've been having fun at Spa today. You know, at the end of the day, it's a charity event. So, you know, we're out there to make some money for charity and to have some fun out on track and enjoy these very, very tough conditions. You know, 24 hours of racing, so difficult. There'll be a lot of drivers from the European time zones now waking up after probably what is 2 or 3 hours sleep. Some might not have been sleeping at all. I did hear from Daniel that he's had about 1 hour's sleep. A teammate of his does need to potentially make an apology or so for missing his alarms. So we'll see. We'll catch up with Daniel in a little bit as this rain does approach. But yes, like I said, $5,480.81. That is a massive amount of money. So a big thank you to everyone who has donated. And thank you for those who've been causing chaos out on track with the donation incentives, which have been a primary driving force of the charity donations today. The donations incentives, of course, are there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, scrolling all the way through. And I do have to remind, of course, negative ballots for 1 hour, -40 and -20. That's to benefit your own car. And then you can do the opposite to an opponent's car, or to your own car if you really want to. Add 40 kilos or add 20 kilos for a particular amount. You've got the penalties here, the drive-through, the stop-go 30, and the time penalty, which you can remove from your car. And then, of course, there's the fun one. That's adding a penalty to an opponent's car. You can add a stop-go 30 or a drive-through if you're really in that critical part of the race. And I get the feeling that this car that we are seeing on screen right now, P1 at the moment, the 96 car currently with Benjamin Schwartzler in there, and they have done 518 laps, or they're just onto the 518th lap. And they are going to be running around for the 518th time. They might be subject to a few of those donation incentives potentially towards the end of this race. That, and of course the rain. Menno, can I please change the timing tower? Yes, indeed. Sorry about that. I do occasionally like to have the relative on, but this is a much, much better view. I usually do forget to turn it off, so thank you for the reminder. That is always appreciated. Of course, a long day for everyone out here on track, and I think at some point, you know, you do start to get that little bit of wear and tear, not only on the cars, which we'll talk about soon, but of course, in terms of your driving ability and what you're doing out on track as well. You know, these are long stints. Some out there will be doing 2, 3, potentially 4, 5 hour stints in the race, and that is no easy thing. I mean, I'm sure everyone who's listening in can understand how difficult that is. I'm looking around the grid. There's only a couple of teams with 3 drivers apiece. We've got the 911 car. Currently, Timo Send is in there at the moment. P21, they've got 3 drivers registered for this event, and that's going to be very, very tricky. That's 8 hours of driving each. That's an incredibly large amount of driving. We've got Rick Kranz, sorry, excuse my pronunciation, in the chat as well. We will be singing in the rain. That's right, we'll be singing and dancing in the rain. because these cars are going to be going all over the place. You add mental fatigue to wet weather running, and I think the technical term for that is fun. Some might call it action out on track, some might call it an inconvenience, but here in the commentary box, you'll love to see it because we stay nice and dry here. There's no open windows in the commentary box. It does spell a little bit in here, but I'm sure not as bad as some of the seats of the cars that are currently out there on track. We're currently on board with the P2 car. This is the car that we've got Menno van der Molen, Chico Lentvar currently in the driver's seat, Christoph Samin and David Hill alongside Joey Thysjans and Nick Timmermans. So we've got a number of drivers in that 6-person team at the minute. Welcome in, Roich. Good morning to you as well. Lovely to have you all in here in chat. And of course, do feel free to ask any questions, any requests you've got in terms of some screen time for people. I'm more than happy to oblige. I'm a little bit out of date in terms of what's been happening in the previous 20 hours and 34 minutes of this race. So if you do have any little tidbits of information to spice things up, do let me know. I'm intrigued. I'm keen to know. But I'll call it as I see it for the moment. Menno, thank you, pal. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries at all. Do remind me if I have a slightly strange camera angle on or anything like that. Looking down the grid further, we've got, in the moment, Chris Carr in his car, ironically, for the Curb Crew Racing 24 Hours team. This McLaren, I love this color scheme, red and white. A little sprinkling of black. I think this is actually one of the default McLaren liveries, but I do really like it. There's just something about it. Now, I do have to announce that I have a little bit of bias, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bias. I'm a huge McLaren fan. Of course, as I mentioned before, I am broadcasting for you from here in New Zealand, down in the South Pacific, and that does mean that when I see a McLaren, I do get a little bit excited. Bruce McLaren, of course, created the team a long time ago, and the exact year escapes me at this point in time, but he was a Kiwi. And this car, of course, also has the 14 number. So if I'm going to put my money on anyone, it's going to be these chaps here. They're doing an incredible job at the moment. I'm going to try and see if I can find out when they last pitted. I think we had Noah Markomba in the car a while back. I think that was changed over somewhere in the range of 20 laps or so ago. Tim saying the penalty war for last place at midnight. That was very funny. Oh, well, I wish I had seen that. Oh, dear. So I've been busy all day, sadly, so I haven't been able to keep up with things. Penalty war at midnight. You absolutely love to see it. And we do have a new donation being put through at the moment. And that is a applied drive-through penalty to a competitor. Ooh, I'll announce more details about that later on once we get that all confirmed. But thank you very much for that donation coming on through. That is fantastic. Now up to $5,660.81. So thank you very much, Robbie, for that donation. Much appreciated. But yeah, donation war. This is exactly what the donation incentives were designed to do. And again, you know, it's a really fun combination. When I heard about the arrangement for these donation incentives, I absolutely lost my mind. I thought this is going to be a lot of fun, and I absolutely have to be a part of it. And here we are being a part of it, which is fantastic. So I'm stoked to be here. Of course, bringing you some of the final hours of the broadcast commentary and the live action from out on track. And like I said, there's another free incentive that I'm offering out here today, and that is you can request focus on your car in chat for free, and I will oblige. I'm more than happy to do so. It's the unfortunate thing with being slightly out to date with the happenings out on track. You do end up needing a little bit of help from you folks in chat just to make sure we're focusing on the right things throughout the race. But that is the donation coming through there, a drive-through penalty being applied to the P1 car, the 96 car, Limert Esports, and they are going to have to do a drive-through. They are solidly down the road right now from the 112 car, 114 seconds separating them, so just under 2 minutes out on track. And this is exactly what I mean in terms of the donation incentives. You might be the fastest out there, you might have had the best luck out on track, the best drivers or the freshest drivers or whatever it ends up being, but you know, if you've got a few of your competitors with some money in their pockets that they are looking forward to donating, then this is exactly what happens. So that is a pretty big, that's a pretty big thing here at Spa, because the pit lane entry and pit lane itself is incredibly long. The longest one, of course, we have in the ACC game. And that it certainly takes a lot of time out of things. I think it's around 73 seconds. So what you're essentially buying there, or donating, I should say, is you're donating for 70-second gap to be removed between you and a competitor. And that is a pretty massive thing. We do have 2 laps remaining, of course, for Schwartzler to come in the 96 car. They might be organizing a donation to remove that penalty. So this is where the donation wars might well be coming in. We'll keep a very close eye on that throughout this race. But yeah, big thank you there, of course. And noting our sponsors as well. We've got KNAF there, KNAF. We've got Hedgehog, Coach Dave Academy, Just Printing, and Hats Cursed as well. We don't have a PNG yet for, I don't think. We might actually have one up there. But big thanks, of course, to all of our sponsors out there. It's really is appreciated, the support that we get from around the globe for this. It is absolutely brilliant. Can't thank everyone enough, really, at the end of the day. So continuing to look down the grid, of course, we've got P5, we've got David Mayer in there in the 373 McLaren for FalconSimRacing. The squad is about 4 laps down on the lead on their 517th lap at the moment. Currently lapping in the low 18s. So they've actually found a bit of pace out there. I'm not 100% sure how long we've been out on stint, but I think it's been around an hour or so. Penalty has been cleared by race control. So looks like we may have had that switched up there. We will see what's happened. Maybe there has been another donation. Let me just double check. Not that I can see of at the moment, but we will get that checked. It might have actually been the car coming into the pits. I don't think it was, though, because I don't have a timer showing for the pit lane on my telemetry. But the 373 car, I should say, for FalconSimRacing out there, they've just done a 217.9. So they're finding some real pace towards the end of this stint and doing fantastically well. Continuing to look back, the 777 car here, Firefly X Make a Wish. And again, this is actually, I think, another of the liveries out on track that I absolutely adore. Some beautiful imagery on the car, some great graphics. And yeah, honestly, another great livery out there, the 777 car. And we've got Christoph Hatak in the car at the moment. I'm sure his teammates will be happy with what he's doing out there. His best lap so far. This stint has been a 217.742. I think he's come into the pits not too long ago. I believe that was either Till Schubert, Lucas Koenig, Philip Eckert, or Tim Stelling, who was in the car before, and I will double check that just to make sure that I've got that absolutely right. I think that was, in fact, Lucas Koenig, who was in the car just before this, and as you can see there, Firefly Esports. Beautiful livery. I absolutely love this. Great color scheme out there. Anything that the gold with black and white on it, I have to admit, is absolutely stunning. So looking good out there is this car right here. Further back in the grid, it is the, we've just had a change up there, but we've got Kai Blankshan here in P10 overall. Ironically, that has just mixed up my order, so I will have to take a look at that. Coming out of the pits, we do have Moberg. He'll be continuing and doing a second stint out there, so it's 2 stints in a row, double stinting. But the question is now, 10 minutes till the rain comes, there's going to be some pit stops out there. And this is the question. This is the question that you're going to have to be answering. When do you come in? How long do you risk it out there on drier tires? Of course, the brake temps, the brake life, and all of that will be suffering at this stage of the race. And if you've been running the same set of tires for maybe an hour and a half or even 2 hours, some teams out there might be doing that to try and reduce the time they have in the pits, but some, unfortunately, also might not be. We will see. I think, it's going to be a critical time to jump into the pits and really switch up the strategy, because 10 minutes out, we do have the light rain appearing. It looks like the light rain will continue through 30 minutes, so it's not exactly heavy weather. That might continue to get progressively heavier in the last, in the next sort of hour or so. We will keep a very close eye on the weather going forward. Tim Sis as well letting me know that we did have that penalty cleared. Yes, I had a feeling that was the case, and it's just come up on my screens as well, the donation there coming through to clear a drive-through penalty for the leaders of this race. So the 96 car car gets away with it once again. And of course, that does continue to drive us up towards $6,000 donated. That's a massive, massive amount of money. So continue to give my thanks and congratulations to everyone for performing such an amazing bit of work here today for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That is the charity that we are supporting. If you do need the donation links or anything in chat, we do have that in the description of this YouTube channel. So if you're willing to give us a subscribe and add some notifications and all that, give us a like on the news stream as well. This is the third stream that we're actually doing here today. We had one done earlier, then we had to switch it up in the middle of the evening yesterday, and that was the second stream, part 2, and now we're on part 3. But of course, you can read the description of this YouTube channel to get the donation links there. There is a GoFundMe as well as a Tiltify link, or Tiltify. Tiltify, it is Tiltify, yes. So do feel free to go and do that. If you do need to do a donation incentive, there is a Google form that you do need to fill out, so make sure you do that, because otherwise Race Control cannot do anything about it. Very, very important. Of course, the donation incentives rolling up and down your screen, or mostly up, I suppose, on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. But yes, some closer battles out on track. Let's just scroll down and have a little look and see what's happening out there. The closest one that I can really see at the moment, we've got Marco Flugschadel at the moment in the 13 car, the BMW 13. And he's only 2.5 seconds away from P14 at the moment. The P14 ahead has just done a pit stop a few laps ago, both of them on lap 516. And that's just a huge hats off as well. 523 laps has the leader done. Most out on the grid now have done 500 laps in total, with a few at the bottom of the grid, the 387, the 592 car, the 500 car, and the 25 car, just underneath that 500 mark. But by the time we're finished, we'll be well towards 600, potentially even 650 laps. We will see. But this weather is really going to shake things up. I am absolutely looking forward to seeing what is going to happen, because everyone knows what happens when you mix tiredness, a long race, probably some sore ankles, knees, and hips, with a bit of wet weather driving and a bit extra car control out there. I think everyone will be cranking the traction control up as much as possible as we do see the P3 car. Chris Card coming into the pits for the number 14. So that'll be, I'm not sure if that might be a strategic pit stop there. It might be a required one. I'm a little unsure. I will ask Daniel this to confirm. Maybe everyone can confirm in chat if we have stint timers out there. I'm assuming a standard 65-minute stint timer has been in operation. I just don't have that data with me right now on the commentary desk. So do let me know if that is the case, in which case that is very awkward. This is the thing that happens, unfortunately. When you get the weather coming in, you can be right in the middle, you can be right at the end. The pit stop can be super inconvenient. There may be some out there that'll risk the dry tires through the light rain, since it is not super heavy, or at least that's what the weather radar is telling us at the moment. It is entirely possible that rain will increase quite substantially. So again, we will keep an eye on that. 30 minutes out, just looks like light rain continuing, but this will drop the track temperatures as well. Even though we are coming up in the day, there will be a little less temperature in the track, a lot less grip to be using. Of course, you have to start worrying a little bit about using those. Ooh, that was a very close one there. Levels does get by reasonably cleanly there. Might have got a little bit of a jump shock at the BMW behind, formerly in front of him, jumping out of the way. Awkward place to do it, or coming in towards the no-name area. Liam DK in chat. Good morning, lads. Saying he's had a nice sleep while your mates were forced to do an all-nighter, so I will complete the business. Very nice, mate. Well, looking forward to seeing you out on track indeed. And if I'm not wrong, you are with ERA Sports, I think. But do let us know, and I wish you good luck, of course, going back out there. You've got the fun stint, even though you didn't have the difficult stint, the all-nighter, always very difficult, but you're going to have the fun stint out there on the rain, because that rain radar is getting very, very scary. Yes, so the two top cars are technically on the same lap. So we've just had Lentvar in the P2 slot 112 car has just come across the line. Schwartzler did do that just a moment ago, but they are both on lap 524. There is a 113-second gap between them at the moment. As you can see, Lentvar now coming down towards Eau Rouge and up into Radion towards the Kemmel Straight. That is going to be potentially a battle that'll rage mainly with the donation incentives, I suspect. We did have a little bit of a jostling for that earlier on, which was a lot of fun. Menno in chat saying, the drivers of 96 have deep pockets indeed. How was the penalty rain on car 501? No, unfortunately, I don't think I saw one coming through. No, I don't think there was a penalty coming through for the 501. At least not one recently, not since I've jumped in the commentary box. I've only been in for about 30 or 40 minutes, so that's just an FYI. We do have the P6 car coming out on track. The mayor now taking another stint, choosing an interesting line out of the pits, but one that technically is valid. Fastest lap for them has been a 17.180. So they have been rapid out on track, and they'll be continuing to chase down P5. They're about a minute off the back of the 777 car, and I think both of them are on the same lap. Yeah, both on lap 521. Oh, I see what you mean, Daniel Van Dyke. I see exactly what you mean now. You mean the penalty rain on the fun hour, bro. Yes, 100%. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to it very much. The little bit of chaos, you know, just a sprinkling of chaos in there. You do love to see it at the end of the day. And that is the 32 car and the 23, P32 and P23. And we're on board with Otto at the moment. So Otto is the new driver now for the 373 car. And he'll be making a little bit of a charge. He's got a little bit of a gap to charge down, though, unfortunately. Like I said before, about just over a minute now to get up into the range of the 777 car to get that top 5 spot. Another battle out here that's been actually very close. 10 seconds between them. Matheson now in the car for Hexagon Nation squad. And they are running 8 seconds behind the P14 car. Jacob Hart now back in the car. He did a very long stint overnight and looks like he's been recruited again to go out on track. Both of them on lap 522. So battles all around the track here. It could potentially get quite close. We've got the top, P3, P4, P5 are all on lap 522. And then we've got P6, P7, P8, P9, P10 all on lap 521. A couple of cars on lap 520, P11, P12, and P13 as well. Tim's is asking, so what will a drive-through do on the last lap? As far as I know, if you cross the line with a drive-through still to serve, it gets turned into a 30-second penalty. Now, I could be completely wrong about that, but that is my experience of having drive-throughs myself and then not bothering to serve them. Daniel saying you're going to drive car 500 for the last 2 hours, maybe. I see, Daniel. Yeah. Well, we do wish you good luck for that remaining stint. 2 hours, that's going to be a double stint out there. That's a big one. How many hours have you driven so far, Daniel? And in fact, everyone in chat, do let me know if you have been in the car and you have been driving. Do let me know what has been going on out on track. Now, this gap here between P4 and P3 has been coming down rapidly. There's only 3 seconds in it now. That is very, very close. I do wonder if Jacob Hart's had a problem. Oh, we did have some contact there. Otto and the P7 car. So this is very close out on track. Down the Kemmel Straight, we will go. The QRT car driven by Kasbergen. There's the rain. There is the rain. It's out on track. Here we go. Get ready. Away we go. I am absolutely stoked that we're having this now. A few cars coming back out on track. I suspect this was a tactical pit stop here for the 79 car. They came out and they timed it absolutely perfectly. Look at that plus sign. I think this rain is going to be here for a little bit, and that little plus sign does mean that it's going to be increasing as well. Back on board with this battle, it's the 14 car versus, wow, that's a move and a half versus the 9 car. The number 9, Matheson in the driver's seat at the moment does go on through. And I get the feeling, unfortunately for Jacob Hart, it looks like he's on dry tyres. Oh dear. Dry tyres for the 14 car. They've just dropped the P3 position. That's a massive change in the order of things, and he'll be under attack potentially if he doesn't come into this pit stop soon. Christoph Hartak and the 777 car I think they might have just come into the pits. They might not have. We'll keep a little eye on that. Very exciting to see this happen. 5 seconds behind the P6 position is Camilo Otto in the 373 car. I think they also did a tactical pit stop there. So some, I think, just either running out of driver stint time and having to come in, might have just gone out there on the wets a little bit earlier. Resting a little bit of extra graining on those wet tires. They'll be pretty hot, but they will cool down pretty quickly. Looks pretty stable out there for the 777 car. So I don't think they're on... Oh, no, I think they are on the dry tires. There's a car off. Oh, dear, that's P8. That formerly P8. That's De Boer. The 27 car has gone off as well. Oh, so many people getting caught out there. Oh, my goodness. Schwartzler still has to come in to pits, so they are also risking it, staying out on track. Dry tires on their car at the moment from what I can ascertain. But Jacob Hart here, that's an absolute disappointment for the Curb Crew racing team, and I think they're going to be trying to avoid going into the pits as soon as possible. Lots coming in. Lentvar, P2 in the pits at the moment. We've also got Sukhanov as well in the pits, Hansel in the pits, the 13 car, Luke Chadel in the pits, as well as Graggle in the pits. So a number of cars now. Send Omar in the pits. We've got the Hexagon team also. They've just come into the pits as well. They're now back out on track and quite a fair way down the grid. I wonder what's happened to this team in this race. But crikey, the conditions really mixing things up. Daniel saying, you think you drove 4 hours now? That's very impressive, mate. Honestly, my hat's off to you. 4 hours of driving is absolutely no joke at all. Mark Martin saying you were in the 208 car for the whole night. Mark, is that why I see a massive amount of driving time for you there on the pit stops indicator? That would explain a lot. Devil Dampfer saying, Rain, love heart, finally. With a big smiley face. Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear, looks like we've had a massive issue there for Jacob Hart. He is gone for a bit of a spin. We'll try and capture this on our replay here. I think he's on those dry tires. He's just centered a little bit too much on the accelerator. Oh, that's a disaster for the 14 car there. Oh, they're going to have to keep that going and probably bring it back to the pit lane as soon as possible. He will have damage on the rear part of that car, the rear diffuser of the McLaren. Such a sensitive piece of gear. Speaking of the 208 car, Gibson now on the controls for the Make-A-Wish entry. Fast and Furious 2.0 is what the livery is called, potentially the team as well. Behind them, the P10 position has come into the pits. So I think this has been timed to perfection here by the 208 car. That, by my judging, is a wet tire on the car at the moment. So they've timed this to perfection and potentially leapfrog possibly some cars. They're only 10 seconds behind the 27 car, and that could be a really good situation for them. Kurt Peters, welcome into chat as well. You did say, ooh, rain incoming. Yep, I hope they know the new meta pressure for wets. Yes, well, that is a very interesting point, actually. So for those of you who don't know, and before I get into that interesting little point there, we do have the P1 car. The 96 car is in the pits. They're going to be coming in. They did 3 laps out there on the dry tires. That's very, very impressive. Mark is saying, not yet. They still need to come in. Wow, so that's actually some really impressive driving there from Gibson. Still on the dry tires. And yeah, you can actually see there the little yellow marker around the border of the tire, not the rim itself, but that is an indicator that they are on the dry tire. So it looks like I was looking at the wrong part there. So thank you for updating us. Jacob Hart still going out there. I do believe he might have been on the wet tire, so he might have just cooked it a little bit on the wet tire. That's really not good. That's even worse news for him, actually. Formerly P3, now P4. Matheson does come into the pits as well. They'll be throwing on the wet tires, as does Kaz Pergan for the 79 QRT BMW. So for those of you who don't know, when we talk about the new wet meta, some very interesting things have been happening in the world of Jardia's stream. So for all of you who don't know who Jardia is, YouTube extraordinaire, ACC legend, very, very, very fast driver. And he and his team might have discovered some very interesting things with your tire pressures. And I was fascinated when I saw this tweet come up. But essentially, what they're saying is that you don't need to worry about running PSI around, because usually with wet tires, you run a PSI of somewhere between 29.5 and 31. That's the usual range for wet tires. What they actually did is crank the pressures up to 35 on all tires and absolutely max it out. So 35 PSI on all tires, apparently, especially when the mixed conditions start to turn back into dry conditions, turns out that is actually faster, potentially by up to 0.5 or a second per lap, depending on the circuit that you're at. They, I think, trialed that at Bathurst 24 hours for VEM. That's the Virtual Endurance Motorsports, I believe. I probably got that name completely wrong, but VEM Endurance Series, which has just come to its conclusion. The final race, 24 hours at Bathurst, was an absolute pleasure to watch, and we did have our very own John Wright, who's been on the stream earlier commentating. We did have him actually commentating for quite a lot of that for VEM, and he did a very, yeah, I was going to use a colourful word there, but he did a really good job as well on that. And of course, he is the organizer, owner, and operator of Raven Comms, of which I am fortunate enough to be a part of, and we are bringing you the live commentary today for the DC-SimRacing Spa 24 hours for Make a Wish. So yes, 35 PSI apparently. You put that on all your tires for the wet stint, and apparently you go faster. That's the meta. That's the supposed, the allegedly there. So we will see. That's a drive-through penalty there for Schmidt. So I think he might have had some track limits there. I don't see any donation incentives coming in for this. But Schmidt there, the 31 Porsche, just getting that last track warning, and unfortunately for him, I believe that is 4 on the list. And that is very unlucky. The track is actually only damp at the moment, so the conditions are not necessarily full wet out there. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and I've just got to respond to a couple of messages that I've got in Discord, so I will be slightly distracted for just a minute. But yes, not quite wet conditions out there, damp out on track. Schmidt, of course, will serve this drive-through penalty, and we will be good to go. The track temperature actually hasn't reduced, so I was predicting that there was going to be a slight reduction to that. Out of the pits comes the 926 car as well. No, that's not. That's a spin. Sorry. I'm getting my yellow flags mixed up there. It's the someone sent it too hard flag. Drive-through has been cleared for the 31 car, but yes, this is the Mobile West liveried car, HSE Esports here. Dmitry Sukhanov at the wheel, and unfortunately for him, he has gone for a rather nasty spin there. There's the 31 coming out of the pits. We've got a pretty interesting mix-up of the grid. The 373 car in P6 has maintained their position as it is right now, but the 14 car has recovered quite well, I will admit. Welcome, George Morgan TV. Ooh, hello, George Morgan. Welcome. Lovely to have you in here. How are you doing today? Hope you're enjoying things. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend as well. Now, I want to redirect everyone's attention to what we've got on the weather radar up there. The little icons of information at the top part of your screen. We've got Weather Plus incoming 30 minutes. To go. That is going to be a lot more fun. The rain continues to come down for at least another 30 minutes. That's fantastic news for us. I'll be happy, personally, in the commentary box to see this continue to the end of the race, because it just switches things up so significantly, and you absolutely love to see it. In terms of the top 6, though, just to redirect our attention, in terms of the top 6, we've got the closest battle here is the 373 car. They have been on a charge, setting some fantastic lap times out there. Really have been sitting, you know, during the dry area before we got the rain come through, they were sitting quite comfortably at the mid to high 217s, and quite consistently as well. So the drivers here for the 373 car, the Falcon Sim Racing team, they have been putting on some great stints. And they're only now 7.1 seconds behind the Firefly X Make-A-Wish team. And this is going to be a spicy battle towards the end. 3 hours to go. We've just clocked underneath 3 hours in this race. And there'll be at least 3 more pit stops, I suspect, for most out on track. I do also suspect we're going to get wet conditions. So things will continue to get harder and harder out there. 9:10 a.m. out on the track at the minute. So keep a very close eye out. This battle for P5 is absolutely not over. In fact, it's getting hotter and hotter. Looking around our top 10 at the moment, Mark Gibson, the 208 car, who I was talking about earlier, we got corrected as well, because I thought they had made a strategic pit stops for wets, but they hadn't. Now they have done that pit stop. They've come in, they've switched the tires out. Gibson will go again on a new stint here. And is that a bit of an issue we've seen down there? Potentially it was, but no, it did briefly pop up on my timing screens, but that has now disappeared. So back on board with the 208 car. They are in a battle to get the P8 spot from the 27 car. Sander de Boer is in the 27 car at the moment for ERA Esports. This is a battle that has been raging on for a very large number of laps in multiple conditions and overnight. And I believe, as I understand it, it has been switcherooing. That's my new word of the day. Very difficult to pronounce. Back and forth, over and over throughout this entire race. So this battle for P8 is going to be continuing. Oh, so Patrick Bisches there and Rick Kran saying someone forgot to select driver swap. Oh dear. Okay, so I believe that is the team for Gibson there. Oh dear. I'm sure he's a happy man. I'm sure he's a very happy man having to go out. I assume at this stage he's going to have to stay out there for the next hour and just, you know, he's got to do it. He gets the fun stint out there. Antelope AUT as well. Finally, the 777 car can use its hybrid setup. Oh, interesting. Okay. Do tell us more. Do tell us more. Spill the beans, spill the secrets. Till Schubert in the 777 car at the moment. The McLaren doing very nicely out there for P5. Sorry, this is the Firefly X Make-A-Wish car, I should say. Not the green car that we did just see. The cameraman not quite keeping up with the instructions being sent from the broadcast van. But nonetheless, George Morgan TV also saying Spa in the wet. Ooh, yes, yes, we do love to see it. You do love to see it. I mean, yeah, it's in the real world racing, Spa in the wet. You know, you do get a combination of fear and elation. There's a combination of these two feelings that do play around. Of course, very dangerous here. A track that has been improved over the years, a number of times to get things safer and safer and safer. Of course, the original inception of this track years and years and years ago. I'll have to look up the original circuit data. I do not have that information handy with me. But the original race here, it was basically just a flat-out run. There was a much bigger loop that you did. So it was something in the order of 15 or so kilometers, I believe. It was an absolutely massive track. They did organize a race here, but only one person entered. So the first ever race at Spa, only one car actually entered the race. So they decided to scratch that and wait. Apparently they did. Well, by default, though. And welcome back to the commentary box, Daniel Metz.
Yeah, just was curious. I'm also curious about what happened to the 113 car. Of course, the car that I'm part in. I see something about a driver swap not having been successfully completed.
Yes, so that, I believe, was the 208 car there. The 208 car had a bit of a problem with the driver swap. That is what unfortunately happened there. So poor Mark Gibson is going to go out for another stint, and it just happens to be the wet one. So I'm sure he was very relieved as he came into the pit lane. But now he's in trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, Mark is still doing a fine job, I would say, in the top 10. So let's hope that he can really make the best of that.
Yeah, but, absolutely. He might be able to put. I mean, you know, another hour. It's only raining. It's only wet weather. It's only mixed conditions out there. You know, what's to complain about, right?
Oh yeah. Well, John will definitely not complain because he now does not have to eat his snow boots. Yes.
Very, very true. Yes, I have it, John. I've been talking to John in the background as well. Apparently he can't see the Discord, but look, he's saying he's going to go get some more sleep. So I think he did quite the number of hours out there. So we do have a drive-through for track limits. The 87 car falling afoul of those 4 track warnings. So that is Alistair Leckie. He's coming into the pits immediately in the 87 car for QRT. That's really unfortunate for them. They were actually running pretty well in this Bentley. Bentley, not a car we've seen too much of out there. It is a good car. Yeah, it gets its nickname the Boat Leaf for a reason.
Yeah, it should thrive under these conditions, right?
Supposedly, allegedly, yes.
Yeah.
It is a very heavy car. It's rear happy, I think is the phrase. So you can drive it in the wet. The question is, how well will it turn? How well will it accelerate? And I think some of us know the answer to that. Actually, that is a couple of questions I did have for you. One was driver stint times. I'm assuming 65 minutes per stint.
Minutes.
70 minutes per stint.
7 minutes. Yeah.
Excellent. And then the other one here is about BOP. Well, we're running default BOP in this.
Yeah, we are.
Excellent. So that
McLarens are a bit OP, but yeah, we decided to not do a custom BOP for this. Let people just pick the car that they wanted to choose.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that's a good call. So even braver here for the 87 car to be in the Bentley, because it certainly isn't a meta car. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's awesome that and they explained yesterday that they chose this car because it's a fun event, so they absolutely did not choose the meta car, as you say. As we see that they're also fulfilling a sail-through penalty currently, so just going through the pit lane there.
Exactly right. We do have a drive-through as well for the 25 car. They are coming in as well. The BOF Racing Race for Wishes team. And they currently have Barkas Daniel in the car at the moment. They're on lap 494 now, as they just crossed that line in the pit lane. But a number of laps, I mean, we are up to lap 532 here for the leaders. And to be honest with you, the battle for the top 10 positions, even maybe to the top 12, actually pretty close out there.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, we only have 3 hours to go, a little less than 3 hours. So yeah, that's the wonderful thing with a 24-hour race, that somehow 3 hours doesn't seem so long. And even if you have to do 3 stints consecutively, you still will feel that, oh, that's no problem.
Yeah, it is one of those weird things, isn't it? You get through 21 hours of racing, then 3 hours suddenly doesn't feel like 3 hours, but it also feels like about 9.
Yeah,
feels longer and shorter at the same time.
It's a super weird phenomenon, really, because yeah, as you say, it is 3 hours. So yeah, absolutely. If you would organize a 3-hour race, well, of course, it's not the longest of endurance races, but still a proper sprint race, I would say. So yeah, it's. It will be a longer sprint race. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
and not something that you would organize on a Thursday night, as we usually do. That would be a bit get a bit too late for most people, including Menno and myself, of course, as organizers.
Exactly
and,
right.
All the wonderful other volunteers that we have, they will not be very happy to close off the computer at 2 o'clock on a Friday morning. So yeah, that's but still, yeah, exactly. It being a 24-hour event, I very much have the mindset right now that oh yeah, we're almost done. Yes. Which is well, a double feeling, because on the one hand I'm very tired, but on the other hand we have had so much fun, and I'm fairly sure, well, I am sure that we're going to reach $6,000, because if we don't, I will absolutely donate the last $120 that we need in the final minutes of the race. But yeah, I'm fairly sure that we will reach that goal. I don't think we'll race it again, but yeah, who knows? If we're at $6,500 in an hour, then sure, we have to race it again, and let's go for $7,500 then to race the ceiling. Of course, we don't have to hit any of these targets. We've already done such an amazing job. But yeah, each and every cent is very welcome, and yeah, I'll definitely make another donation as well, because my wife also offered to make a donation, so I'll definitely get something in from the both of us as well. So
oh, that's fantastic. I mean, $5,840.81 is a huge amount of money to raise for charity, and I'm sure the Make-A-Wish Foundation will be incredibly grateful for the support that everyone has given. And yeah, I mean, let's try and absolutely get to that 6,500 mark. I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I mean, I've got to give my hats off to yourself and Menno. There are so many hours and there's so much going on in the background that you two are organizing, arranging, doing much more probably than most do know about, I suspect. So, you know, I've got to give a, you know, on behalf of everyone out there, a big thank you to yourself and Menno for the amazing job you're doing. Because honestly, that is so much effort. I've done 24-hour races before. They are absolutely no joke. They are very, very heavy duty. And that's just as a driver, let alone doing it as an administrator, as a race administrator, or as a live steward. That is just absolutely something else out there on track. And, you know, you guys have just done amazing. So yes, of course, if you do want to make a donation, do check our description in the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. All the links are there for the GoFundMe, the Tiltify, and the donation incentives form that you do need to fill out to cause a bit of chaos out there on track, or help yourselves out in your own car. And yeah, Daniel, I do suspect with the wet weather potentially either going away towards the end of this race, or maybe not, opportune moment to get some of those donation incentives and really mix it up with your opponents, or make it easier on yourself. Because I think, you know, negative 40 ballast in the wet would probably go a long way.
I was considering doing another donation for my team, well, of course, it's not so much my team, it's the DC-SimRacing community team. But unfortunately, I heard from Menno that there has been a issue with well, not so much the driver swap. It seems that they are in the last position now. Can you switch to the 113 car, maybe?
We certainly can. And give me just
still in the race.
A short moment. The 113 car, here we go. Ah, yes, that does look like a big problem there for the DC-SimRacing McLaren. I think so they're obviously trying it again, trying to get that driver swap to work. And it looks like Patrick Beastes is still in, and I apologize for any names that I do mispronounce. Beastes, thank you, Daniel. Thank goodness you are here to save me from myself. Patrick Beastes.
I've butchered plenty of names in the last 21 hours. So
yeah, absolutely. I've just got to get my tally up, mate. These are rookie numbers for me right now. So it looks like they are trying to switch the car around to another driver. Might be Canberra, or is it going to be Jeffrey Koch in the car now? Or
yeah, Jeffrey was Mike was supposed to take over this morning. Actually, he was supposed to take over from me, but I'm guessing that he his alarm clock did not go off, as happens one of the charms, of course, of endurance racing. So absolutely not too bothered with that. Control, lock, and go. So Patrick, does that mean that you guys can continue? Because I would hope so. Because that, of course, we would love to finish this race, of course. And my stint, while I've done my driving, I'm absolutely knackered, and the other guys haven't done. I think Johan probably will want to maybe get another stint in as well. Because he's, I think, of the four of us, that he's driven the least. So maybe he wants to get another stint in as well. So yeah, hopefully Patrick, of course, also having done his stewarding and incentive work, will definitely need a nice break, perhaps some sleep even. I think he's already had a few hours of sleep, but yeah, definitely something to look forward to for him, I think. And well, Michael will perhaps want to finish the race for us. So yeah, hope these guys can continue for us, and then yeah, I'll have a goal to splash the cash towards. Yeah, I just want to say, because you mentioned me and Menno specifically, I also want to give a shout out, of course, to Daniel of Fun Racing, and of course all the volunteers. But yeah, I would say that as much as we, of course, appreciate the incredible sacrifice that you're bringing currently, there's also been a lot of planning in the oh, there we go, Patrick Bice is well on their way again. There's also been all the planning in the last couple of weeks, which of course the three of us have done a lot. We've spent a lot of time planning all this out, and you know, it's a matter of yeah, we're hanging out the balloons. Yeah, we're organizing this party. We have all these wonderful volunteers, fantastic team that is helping us out. But yeah, then the final part is, will people join the party? And well, have they joined the party? I mean, almost $6,000, and that has to sink in. That's amazing. again, and I know I sound like a broken record, but let's say that is also a part of doing a 24-hour broadcast, that you will no doubt repeat yourself a couple of times. But yeah, I've been skeptical. I'll be honest. 2 weeks ago, I was. I'll be honest about that. I was very transparent about that. I had, I was not feeling well mentally, and I said to Menno, "Yeah, I don't feel it. I don't think we can. I don't think we should do this." And Menno was adamant to just go on. So that's very much Menno's. Of course, I didn't tell Daniel about this, but personally, I was really ready to give in. So it's very much Menno's doing that. We're still doing this, because if he wasn't there, then DC-SimRacing would probably not even exist anymore. But yeah, he's very much a huge part in letting this go from my end. So letting this go on, I should say. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
shout out to him, but also to Daniel, of course, because the incentive part, that's a huge part of the fundraising entry. We were hoping to have as I said earlier, they raised about $1,200 last year, and we were hoping to get a contribution like that, but boy, did they exceed that expectation with the incentive plan, which is basically, of course, Menno and myself helped in the technical and organizational layout of that as well, of how we could go about that. That is something that I would share with the three of us. But yeah, I say the brainchild. I would say the brainchild of the incentives idea was very much Daniel of fundraising, and indeed the fundraising team as well. They, of course, had plenty of meetings about that as well. So yeah, I really want to share in the credits for this wonderful event, and of course that is the team. But yeah, not in the least part, of course, also all the amazing people that have contributed, and I'll be repeating myself over and over again the coming hours, because I just can't believe it. I can't believe that the sim racing. I mean, let's think about this, guys. I've told you about the sim racing event that Make-A-Wish already did 2 or 3 weeks ago. They raised an amazing amount of $22,000. We're a much smaller community, right? I think they had about 5 or 6 stints, and I don't want to, and by any means make their achievement any less or hours better, by no means. But I am very impressed that we are raising, well, let's get ahead of ourselves. We're raising more than $6,000, and we're a bit smaller than 5 stints currently. So yeah, we're doing pretty well. We're doing at least as well as the big event. Let's put it that way.
Exactly
so,
right.
Yeah,
it's super. It really is super impressive. I mean, yeah, like I'm going to repeat the number once again, because it is just it's a monumental amount of money raised for charity. $5,840.81. There's still 2 hours 40 remaining in this race. Lots of chances, of course, for all the teams out there to improve their chances of a better result and to really mess with their opponents, which is a lot of fun. So, you know, do keep those donations rolling in. We are keeping a very, very close eye on them. But yeah, I mean, look, Daniel, what you guys have done is just absolutely. I was told a little bit about some of the history in terms of some of the charity races and events, not just by yourself but by a few others, and you know, to get to this point is really massive, and you guys put a huge amount of effort into it. And you're right, it's not an insignificant fraction of the main event that has been going. And you know, all this money goes to Make-A-Wish, of course, and they do an unbelievably amazing job out there. Really, really top charity, and this money is going to go to it's going to go to a very, very good cause. And you know, you have some fun and you get to mess with your opponents. That's why when I heard about this format, I knew that I had to get involved in the commentary side of it, because this is just, it's brilliant. It's clever, it's brilliant, and I think it, it's that double reward in a way. You know you're donating to charity, but at the same time, you get to either improve your chances in the race or really mess things up for an opponent. I think that's just very, very smart.
Yeah, that's it's incredibly. It's so much fun. It's fun, and while doing, raising money for such an amazing cause. Yeah, of course we've talked plenty of that, but we can't reiterate enough. When your child is sick, and again, I'm not a parent myself, but of course I know parents. I did have parents. I still have a dad, thankfully. But I know from experience that having a sick child from my, well, let's say, surroundings, seeing that people with a sick child, it can devastate you. So yeah, to get that relief and to raise money for that, that's
exactly. And you know, I'm sure we all agree. You know, family is so important. You know, I'm not blessed yet with my own children, but of course I do have parents as well. Commentators do turns out they do have parents. They are born not you know, they're born from somewhere. But you know, we're clones. Yeah, we're cloned. We come out of the ether and we just appear in live streams, and that's how it works, folks. There's the commentators' version of the birds and the bees right there. It does nothing really happens. We just pop out of nowhere. But you know,
broadcaster appears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. We you know, commentators are born to curse sim races. That's how it works. I digress, but you know, I can't even imagine what it must be like to have you know, a child who's got a critical illness or something that needs a lot of care. And you know, it's foundations like Make-A-Wish Foundation that is absolutely key to helping those that, and it may not have the financial means or access to medical facilities, technology. That is absolutely essential when it comes to looking after your child. And there's nothing more that a parent wants to do than make sure their child is okay and has a good outlook on their future. And this is what these donations are going towards today, and that is massive. You know, that makes a huge difference at the end of the day. And you know, and we get to enjoy our sim racing and do it at the same time. It's something that I'm very, very fond of. Both sim racing and charity events. And when you combine those two, yeah, some magic starts to happen.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a bit distracted now with George, because there are rumors of another happy hour. So
okay. Oh, it looks like we've had a huge issue out here. So let's redirect our attention momentarily out on track, because P4, the number 9 car, who are in hot pursuit of Jacob Hart in the 14 car, have had a major issue out on track, and I will try and catch that on a replay for us now. Here we go. So, oh, and dear, yes. So that is a massive slide there. They've just gotten a little bit too much on the curb, and unfortunately that has gone around. Look at the front of that Lamborghini. Not in a good shape right now. So Hexagon Nation's got a bit of a difficult choice to make now. Do they decide to come in and try and repair some of that damage? No, looks like they're going to deal with it and stay out. That's probably the sensible thing to do. It gets very tricky around this time when you've got to organize different driver stints. There may not be a replacement driver sitting ready to take over. And unfortunately, that has happened to the number 9 car. Very unfortunate there. I do also, unfortunately, Daniel, have to report to you that as Patrick came out of the pits in the 113 car, he did speed in the pit lane. And that was a stop-go 30 for them. They're now down in P25, 13 laps off the lead car. So that's very unfortunate for them too. Some drive-throughs also being served out there, as well as some more action. Oh dear, okay, so that is Dees there in the 926 car at the no-name corner, having a major problem. Unfortunately, the HSE Esports car has not been out of the wall all that often, sadly. They've spent more time on track than in the wall, so that's the good thing, but they have met the wall, unfortunately, more often than not, and as you can see, the front of that McLaren not looking particularly happy. Downforce is a very key thing at a track like this, but crikey, when you get damage like that, the car becomes incredibly difficult to manage out there. We do have the 13 BMW, which is apparently involved in a bit of contact with the number 9 car, who we did spin earlier on. We're on board with them right now. Was unfortunately, looks like they were caught up in that action or I say action, the unfortunate incident that had happened there after the number 9 car did go for a bit of a spin. They've lost a huge amount of time to the number 14 car ahead of them in P3. This could potentially really hamper their chances of getting a top 3 finish in this race. They may need to do something with the donation incentives to try and bring themselves back in range of Jacob Hart in the 14 car. That said, we do have some pretty offset strategies going on right now. And that is making things very interesting. So sorry, that is a very interesting camera view right there. Thank you, broadcasting team. You've done a great job in that moment there. On board with Kasbergen, who wants to get past and unlap himself from the Lamborghini. Bit of side-by-side racing. That was very, very, very brave through Stavelot to go side-by-side trying to overtake or unlap yourself. The Lamborghini, of course, just got no grip with the front bonnet looking like that. There's I believe a 40 or 50 centimeter gap between where it should be and where it is right now. Not a happy place for the Lamborghini driver to be in at all. And as you can see there on your screens, I mean, yeah, that is huge, huge damage. And I'm sure that the team will be thinking about a pit stop at some point. They're going to have to incur some of that time for repairing this car in the pits at some point. They may choose to keep the damage, but with 2.5 hours left on the clock, I think that would be a pretty poor idea. So they're going to lose a bit more time there, unfortunately, to the top 3 in this race. Speaking of which, we do now have Sasha Krager in the car, the 96 car. They've been running around. They were actually running, in fact, they are running now with their sister car, both from Leimart eSports, both running fairly well. Schmidt in the 96 BMW, running in P10 currently, and just ahead of the sister car as no, that's absolutely incorrect, my fault there. I'll try and find the right car out on track in just a moment. But nonetheless, 96 car still in the lead of this race, followed by Chico Lentvar for the 112 car. And they're doing a pretty decent job out there, I will have to admit. DC-SimRacing, Daniel, you have to be pretty proud of these chaps. They're doing very well on behalf of the league. BMW, yeah, of course, on the same lead lap as the lead car, and they're now only 81 seconds behind. That was up at about 125 seconds. Not 30 or 40 minutes ago. So they've obviously done something very smart out there on track, and potentially a bit of a pit stop offset as well going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how the pit stop synchronization, what that looks like currently, but yeah, I am very proud. Of course, those guys know very well what they're doing. I am not. Well, when it comes to sim racing, when it comes to driving myself, I do not. I am absolutely not on par with them, but so it's not really my place to be proud of them. But yeah, those guys definitely know what they're doing, and well, a couple of well, maybe not so much new names. Perhaps we can describe them as guests, but they joined us for the VCO Grand Finals. And one of those names is Lentvar, which we're currently looking at, Chico Lentvar. So a couple of guys joining us in the sim racing team, and yeah, even making the quality of the team even higher. So yeah, it's awesome to see these guys join us, and yeah, making the team even stronger.
That's absolutely right. Yes, the team, the 112 car, of course, Menno van der Molen in there, Chico Lentvar in the car at the moment, Christoph Samin. We've got David Hill, that's a great name, by the way, Joey Thistons, and then Nick Timmermans as well. So a 6-person team. That's a very, very strong outfit. And yeah, running in P2, I mean, yeah, it's a solid job after 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I say that lineup is amazing. That's a really strong lineup. So awesome. Good to see those guys doing that good.
Certainly is. There's a few battles happening around on the pack at the moment. The contention for the top five spots, I should say, still all up for grabs at the moment. Camilio, Otto in the 373 car. I've been talking about them quite a bit here. Falcon Sim Racing, and they have been closing in on the 777 car ahead. Schubert in the 777 car at the moment. The gap is only 3.4 seconds, so The 373 car here for Falcon Sim Racing, they have it all to play for. They could be looking at a top 5 finish in this race. That would be absolutely fantastic news for them. I do believe there's a bit of an offset happening at the moment. Since I've been in the commentary box, Schubert and the 777 car have pitted twice, whereas Otto has only pitted once, so there will be another pit stop happening probably in the next 30 minutes. For the 373 car, and that'll probably change that timing just a bit. We've also had the 208 cars trying desperately, I think, or maybe not desperately, but very skillfully, I should say, trying to chase down the P8 position. The 27 car there currently with Sander de Boer in at the moment, both of them on the lap 537. We've had a few chats comments in our chat as well. So welcome in Daniel Thielen. Good to have you in here. Gruesome Man as well saying carnage. Yes, that's absolutely right. Daniel, the 113 car is out of the session. No, it's not. The 113 car is still running. They've just had a bit of unluck, unfortunately. So stop go 30 for them, and a bit of issue, as I hear it, trying to get the driver swap to work properly. Oh dear, that's very close. Oh dear. So we've had contact here. Jacob Hart has been spun around. Oh no, that's a disaster there for the 14 car, the Curb Crew Racing team, and that was a back marker as well. Just went very deep into the corner, held their speed, and really didn't consider that there was a car in front of them, from what I can tell here. Not ideal at all. You do not want to be the one that goes and spins around a top contender, but P3 has just been spun. So P9 here, P4, the number 9 car, who had a spin themselves and is carrying damage, might have a bit more of a chance with the spinning of Jacob Hart. So these two still in contention. So maybe it's not all over for the number 9 Lamborghini. We will see. Menno, welcome back in the chat, of course. Hope you're doing well. You're saying we had to swallow a few penalties as well. So he's referencing, of course, the 112 car who we were on board with a little while ago. Pit strategy is only is 1 lap off with the leader. Okay, so they are actually very close there, Daniel. Very close on strategy between the two. They're on the same lap, and they're only 1 pit stop separated at the moment.
Yeah, and as Menno says, he's going to get in the car very soon. Of course, Menno also being bloody quick, and to describe it like that. So, still everything to play for. That is a bit of that does have a bit of an effect on the potentially of the potential, I should say, of us doing another happy hour, because as you can imagine, we're almost 24 hours in the race. People are very tired. Some of us have absolutely needed to get some sleep. So the team we're sort of on a graveyard shift since the middle of the night. So as you can imagine, we're looking for stewards. Of course, Patrick Bijsters, as I say, he's one of the guys currently driving, of course. Or is Johan Cambre in the car now? I'm not sure, actually.
What's the number of the car?
113, that is.
113 at the moment. Patrick does appear to still be in the car at the moment, yes.
So he'll have still plenty of stint left to go. So we're of course we have to we still have a bit to go in the race. So there's still very much possibility, but we're looking at the possibilities there. And of course, even without happy hour, there's still the possibility to donate. Of course, it's still very much going to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, but there might be a bit of a gap in the stewarding and thus the incentives part. But we're doing the absolute best that we can, because of course we want to continue, even though it's a fun event, even though it's charity, we still want to keep up the quality as good as we can, of course. But please bear with us, because of course it's very much an endurance race as well in terms of organization. So people have to get some sleep. And as I said, for instance, my teammate Michael Kok, probably slept through the alarm clock there. So that's the sort of thing that happens during an endurance race. So you can imagine that it's very tiring for drivers, but especially for the organization, and especially if they are also driving themselves. That's
exactly right. It's so difficult, isn't it? I mean, you know, you do a long stint, your body's probably complaining a little bit as well, mentally exhausted. I mean, everyone knows that after a good physical workout and a really busy day mentally, the best thing you can do is 8 beautiful or even 10 beautiful hours of sleep. Ignore that alarm, toss it out the window, put it in a glass of water, turn it off any way you can, sleep on through. And I mean, this is something I'm going to have to be aware of in a while as well. I've got a 24-hour spa race myself next week, so I've got to be pretty onto it when it comes to that. Just to look to here, the P5 position, the 777 car, Schubert has picked up a drive-through penalty for track warnings. So Firefly X Make-A-Wish, they are right on the back of the number 9 car, the Lamborghini that suffered damage from a spin a few laps ago, but that drive-through penalty is going to cost them a massive amount here. They are not on an equal pit strategy on them at the moment. So this is going to be quite interesting for them. I think Schubert in the car will be wanting to make his way past as soon as possible. That drive-through is going to toss them right in behind once again. And I do have to report as well, our weather radar now saying that only light rain is happening in 30 minutes. So keep an eye on that. You've got a comment here from your teammate, Daniel. Michael saying, I not overslept. We had connection issue with a smiley face. So maybe that's the explanation there. Or maybe it's an excuse. So, yeah, I was going to say. So,
no, I believe you, Michael. I believe you.
Yeah, we believe you. We believe you. But it's good to make a little bit of fun of the situation. Nonetheless, maybe a round of beers to your teammates at some point for that, but who knows. We have had a ballast donation incentive come in, so thank you very much for that. $45 donated, minus 20 kilograms will be going on the 113 car. So that is going to really help your teammates out in their final parts of their stint. Daniel?
Yeah, that is the donation that I was doing on behalf of my wife as well. So my wife.
Yeah, what?
Terrible.
No, to be fair, I probably should. Yeah, no, I mean, you're, in a way, maybe it's good that I've only been in the commentary box for an hour and 30 minutes, because then I can keep a sort of handle on the insanity that usually ends up ensuing. I think we had. In the previous 24-hour race, we had John doing a Arnold Schwarzenegger impression for about 20 minutes. It was quite impressive, actually, I'll be honest. It was quite impressive. So we'll see. But yes, nonetheless, good on you for the donation. That does put us up to $5,885 donated, and your teammates will be very happy with you, of course. So thank you very much, Daniel, to your wife for the donation. That is awesome to see. But yes, someone who's not getting any support at the moment is the number 9 car right here for Hexagon Nation. All unfortunately he's having to deal with right now is essentially an affliction that is damage to the car, and look how slow he's been driving. Unfortunately, that damage is absolutely massive. That last lap was a 240.8, and he is nowhere near the pace of some of the top cars there. The only car he's similar to is going to be Jacob Hart, who they were competing with. The number 9 car was competing with them, but they've fallen down 3 positions. Schubert in the 777 and the 373 car both making it up ahead, and those two are only separated on track by 3.3 seconds. It's very close. So the 373 car has got themselves essentially a top 5 position in this race as it stands, with 2 hours 20 minutes left on the clock. But with the drive-through for Schubert ahead, this basically guarantees them a top 4, barring no mistakes and some significant changes out on track. But Daniel, as I said before, just looking at the weather radar, we've got 30 more minutes guaranteed of rain at this stage, but the rain seems to be getting a lot lighter after 30 minutes. We may be seeing a switch back to some more mixed conditions.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was. Absolutely. I think you're right. Yeah, I was also trying to.
Multitasking.
Multitasking with a very tired head. So yeah, I have some good news, because our let's call him the chief incentives, Daniel, or German Daniel, as I've dubbed him during this broadcast. He's awake. He took a little nap. So it looks good for that happy hour. So stay tuned for that.
And for those who may not have seen what the happy hour is, could you give us a very quick description of what that entails?
Yeah, this is, well, I don't know if Daniel maybe has another idea, but oh yeah, we're definitely going to do that. So 30-second time penalty again for $25, which was incredibly popular. We're still ironing out the details, so stay tuned. Absolutely.
We will stay tuned. We're very excited about that. So there you go, folks. Another fun hour, another happy hour, so to speak, coming in, rapidly approaching. So stay tuned for some details on that soon. Just reading through the chat. Ruben, welcome into chat, saying that's a nice view to see when waking up. As predicted, the 500 car is not last. There we go. And I'm going to have to be honest with you. I'm at a loss here to pronounce the name, so I'm going to call the driver in the 500 car Luke at the moment. Daniel, you might be able to help me out with this. Oh yeah, well, Neuenhausen.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. Neuenhausen. Okay, there we go. I think I got it. Luke.
In the ballpark. In the ballpark.
Okay. Yeah. So there we go. There's my additional muck-ups with people's names. I do apologize, of course. The Dutch Understeer squad there, not running last. That is the celebration there from Ruben, putting a love heart in chat as well. Very happy man after waking up, and the car is still going strong out there. Yes, second to last, but not last at the moment. Kurt Peters is saying the number 9 car, or you think the number 9 car is driving to do only 2 stops. Well, that would make a lot of sense. Let me bring them up right now. They are now in the pits, though. So with 70 minutes on the clock, yes, there's 70-minute stint timers. So now they can do essentially 2 more stints to the end of this race, and they should be good to go. So you're absolutely right. Slightly off with the prediction of 2 hours and 10 minutes to go, but that's if we round that down, 2 hours and 10 minutes, you're absolutely spot on. I do want to redirect our attention to this battle because this is continuing between Schubert and Otto, the 373 car now right on the rear bumper of the 777 car ahead, who has got a drive-through penalty. They will be coming in this lap, and that looks very wide from the 373 car as they head in towards the bus stop chicane now. And I think we're going to see the car ahead, the Firefly X Make-A-Wish, coming to the pits. Yes, they do. So into the pits comes Schubert. He will serve that drive-through penalty. Tim saying, would be a smart move. Yeah, you lose time, but you don't have a weird last stop to do. Exactly right. Now, I do have an update for weather, but before that, happy hour starting at 10 a.m. So in 9 minutes, this time, you can again buy the 30-second time penalty for $25 each. That is a big one, folks, and this is critical for the last stages of this race. Make sure you get those incentives in. You absolutely want to take advantage of that. Buy a 30-second time penalty for your opponents. It's massive. Get involved. Kurt Peters also saying, yeah, I thought it would be a 65-cent timer, but it's 70 minutes. Yeah, exactly, Kurt. I had the exact same problem when I came in. I thought it might have been a 65, but no, thank you, Daniel, for getting me straightened out with that. We ask and we find out.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, of course. Of course, that information is on our Discord, but yeah, I realized that with a lot of events going on that... and we have used the 65-minute stint timer as well in the past, so I can completely understand that confusion there. So yeah, as you said, the happy hour coming up in 8 minutes time. So yeah, happy to have at least one more happy hour. And yeah, $6,000 is well definitely going to happen. Yeah, where will this end? Who knows?
Well, exactly right. We've got happy hour ahead of us, and another $80 donation from Chris Hatak. Thank you so much. The 777 car would like to have the drive-through cleared, so they have in fact done that, I believe. But it looks like Schubert came into the pits anyway, so oh dear, that's a bit unfortunate. The timing there has not quite worked out. I think they might not have made that donation early enough to get that cleared. So
oh yeah, but they have the opportunity to tag the race control, so tag the stewards, and let them know of the well, their intention to buy off the penalty. So they can do that first thing, when you get the drive-through, we've also had to do that a couple of times. Just first thing you do is let the stewards know that you want to pay off the penalty. As we see a car standing still there on the track.
Not ideal. As I always say, at least once per stream, you can't park there, sir.
Yeah.
But yes, as Daniel said, do tag the stewards. Those drivers in the chat belonging to the 777 car, do tag the stewards in the Discord or even here. We will try and get that sorted out for you. So yes, Antelope AUT, please tag the stewards, in the Discord. That'd be the way to go and get that resolved.
I would say that you're a bit too late now, but yeah, we have a Clear My Penalty channel. They can tag people there. They can tag the race control there and let them know that they have the intention to buy off their penalty, and then you get a 15 minutes, 20 minutes time period to actually make the donation. The stewards know to expect it, and of course Menno was very strict in that, as he should be, that if you abuse that system for whatever reason, then the penalty would be severe.
Exactly right.
Yeah, if you would say you would intend to buy off a penalty, and then buying out of the drive-through didn't work. My car was already in the pits. What now? Yeah, so Antelope out, what we just explained. Next time you can tag the incentives managers next time. So yeah, I'm looking at Menno virtually to see how we. Of course, it's still a donation to Make-A-Wish, so I hope you find that important as well. I know you do. But yeah, if you get another drive-through, I'd say that would be settled then. And that's not an invite to look at or to well, I'm just completely stumbling over my own words here. Yeah, that's not an invitation to that's not an invitation to go over track limits, of course. But yeah, if you do get another drive-through, then I would say that the stewards know what's going on and they can clear that penalty for you. Or yeah, let's see what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is very important to please tag the stewards first of all, and then only then do the donation. And of course communicate with your team as well, because if you were fairly quick with the donation, of course. If the driver would have known that he had to stay out for another 2 laps, then this of course would not have.
So sometimes these things do happen. We've got, of course, a fairly small but incredibly dedicated team in behind, working as hard as possible to catch these things. But yeah, please do make sure when you grab an incentive, do tag, especially for things like drive-throughs and stop-go 30s. If you want them cleared, of course, you only have 3 laps to change it, so there's a very small window for you to get the attention of the stewards, and sometimes it does take a little time for the donations to come through. So just double-check, of course, but sometimes these things are close, and we do try and, of course, make amends for that. But at the end of the day, the 777 car, you guys have been incredibly fast out there on track. There is changing conditions incoming. I'll talk about that soon. So there's still lots of opportunities out there for you guys in 5th place at the moment. And of course, I would also say, as reiterate what Daniel's just said, of course, the $80 is still a donation, a very generous donation to Make-A-Wish. So we do thank you regardless for that donation. I really appreciate that. That has put us up very close to $6,000, Daniel. Very, very close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, it is going to happen, of course. 2 hours, 10 minutes to go. So yeah, I'm just curious where this will end up. We've been surprised last year. I think we were at well, maybe 4,000 around this time. I could be making that up, but yeah, there was still a significant amount to go with a few hours to go in the race, and then we suddenly made a incredible jump. So again, even if we would not reach 6,000, my guys, we've done an amazing job. So keep them calm. Of course, we do have that happy hour coming up, 2 minutes. You can buy 30-second penalty. Sorry.
Yes.
30-second penalties for $25 for your opponents. So Yeah, well, that will definitely take us over the $6,000, and it's been an incredibly popular penalty last time around when we did this happy hour. By the way, George, if at all possible, do you think you could do another awesome client refresh and maybe let be off the air for maybe a minute or something? Do you think that will be possible? Because
sorry, say
if
that
not,
again.
then
Say that one again. Sorry, I didn't quite catch it.
would it be possible to do another awesome client sync and then maybe be off the air for a minute or two to
Yes,
start?
we can.
Because I do see a couple of liveries that have not loaded up.
Yes, I was going to mention this actually.
updated.
I had done a couple of things beforehand, just before I went live, and I thought I got everything. So we can definitely do that. So we may be off air for just a little bit, unfortunately, but we can go live onto the same stream. So everyone just stay tuned. We will be back probably in less than 5 minutes, and stay tuned for that happy hour, which is literally about to happen. So happy hour begins basically now. So please do get ready. In fact, to tell you what, we'll just wait a couple of minutes just to let the happy hour start. It has now ticked over 10 a.m., so you can now start enjoying the happy hour out there on circuit, and we will be back with you with a live stream very, very soon on the same link that you've got right now. So don't go away, don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon.